Everyone, I'm here with my daily video, and today I'm going to show you my A5 planner and talk a little bit about kind of how I use it. I'm going to show you how that ties in with my weekly planner, and that is like my File of Facts personal. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience using the silhouette portrait and kind of the pros and cons as I have discovered them to be. And then how that kind of factors into using the silhouette portrait or really any kind of home sort of die cutting machine as a major part of like your small business or just your entrepreneurial ventures. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about traveler's notebooks and DIYing your own traveler's notebooks. So it's a lot that I'm going to try and touch upon, and this is what I'm hoping, like today's video, I'm really hoping it kind of gives a little bit of a nice kind of segue into what I'm going to do this week in my daily videos. So I guess you could say that today is a little bit of just like an intro to the daily videos that I would like to do for this coming week. Because it just kind of makes sense, I guess, for me today on Sunday for this daily video to just give you a little bit of a precursor. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm so tired today. Just to give you a little bit of just like a preview of what kind of is to come. So if you are interested in hearing just kind of like the high level kind of overarching discussion and seeing some of my planner pages and things, and just a little bit of just hanging out online talking planners, and of course enjoying like looking at planner pages and planner stickers and stuff, I invite you to stick around for the video, and we will just go ahead and get started about all things planning. So let's go ahead and watch the video. This video ended up being a whole lot longer than what I kind of anticipated it would be, so just for your convenience and out of respect for your time, if you check the description of this video, I have kind of some time markers that specifically note when during the video I talk about specific things that I kind of touched upon in the intro of the video. So I just wanted to give you that heads up, so then if you're just interested in certain parts of kind of what I highlighted, then you would be able to find those things a lot more quickly instead of having to like sit through the whole thing. So just want to let you know that. So one thing that I do on other parts of social media that I kind of participate in, specifically in Instagram, is I've been doing this thing since December, I think, that I have like affectionately coined Planner Selfie Sunday. Which honestly reminds me a little bit of the movie Mean Girls when they say to Gretchen Wieners, stop trying to make fetch happen, like it's not going to happen. I kind of feel like Planner Selfie Sunday is a little bit of like trying to make fetch happen, except I just keep going with it, you know, like why not? And I've just kind of been using it and then just like using the hashtag every Sunday, and I think I missed like last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago as a little bit of just me showing like my planner pages and just talking a little bit about where I am with planning, or just like what my current things of Planner Selfie Sunday. And a couple people have joined in with me, which has been really fun because I never wanted it to be just me. I wanted it to be a little bit of like a communal sort of a thing, just a way to kind of like share tricks and tips or just like camaraderie as it has to do with like planning. So I've been doing that since December, and today I shared my planner pages, which here is my weekly kind of planning layout, and it looks so much different than if you have looked at any of my Instagrams, either my personal or my like planning Instagram, and the information for both of those accounts is in the description of this video. Normally the way that I do planning, I do it so that it looks a lot more structured, so that it has, let me see if I can show you just something without, like, so it looks a whole lot more like this. Where what I will do is I will use, and these are my own personal inserts that I designed because I needed them to like look like this and nothing out there existed. So I designed these, went through an incredibly exhaustive process, even did focus groups like a big dork that I am, and like design nerd, and like product tested them with actual people who are left-handed, people who are right-handed, people from a lot of different industries that are friends of mine, that are professionals in design, as much as just like, they're just like, I don't know, they have challenging schedules to manage as mine is challenging. I even tested it with guys. And that's kind of how this stacked vertical came about. And I really like ring-bound planners, so that's kind of another reason why this exists. But normally this is how my weekly planning looks. But I've been trying to do this new thing where I am trying to take planner stickers that I have in my stash and basically do planning by destashing to myself. Which, to be quite honest, is a real pain in the you-know-what. I mean, there's no other way to put it than that. And I have headers and things, but I didn't use them today because, I mean, this is what I use for on-the-go planning and a little bit of, like, personal planning. And I have no headers on here, and I tried my best to go by colors. I don't think I did a very good job. I mean, it's just a jumble, and, like, I don't know, I look at it and I see plenty, but it's just so much that I can't make sense of it. Like, visually, it totally and completely makes things worse for me, and to me, it's not planning. And I'm sure that some people can do this, but I just can't. It's just, like, overwhelming. So I tried to do this by, like, destashing myself in this way, and I figured out that I just can't do it. I visually need to have a lot more organization and structure, and even, like, cohesive colors and things. I mean, that's just me. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's not other people, but it's me. I guess I'm hypersensitive that way. I don't know. Well, considering that, I have actually been thinking about the fact that I moved from being a work out of the home mom, parent, in March, from being a classroom teacher to doing the work from home mom thing. And I do a little bit of what I do, just like some background. And here in the Washington D.C. area where I live and work, a lot of people who work in this area, they do a field of work in an industry called consulting. And consulting basically means that you have worked in certain industries and you have certain specialty areas, such that you work a little bit on a contractual basis with businesses or with individuals as a way to help them to figure out, do like creative problem solving, or just to be a little bit of like a neutral third party or objective individual to look at an area of conflict, or to look at an area of challenge that any given client might have, as a way to help them to like figure things out, I guess. So sometimes what I will do is I will do marketing and visual branding and visual identity. This includes like social media and stuff. Sometimes I'll do that kind of consulting because I have that sort of experience. I also have experience in quality assurance, meaning like quality testing, product development, product design and marketing. And then I also have experience in two other areas, in educational design, since I have my master's in education, as much, and visual design, and like instruction stuff. And then I have experience working in business logistics, as that has to do with like looking at systems. So either like people power or looking at just business functionality and figuring out when and where there is a breakdown in any sort of process, as it has to do with how businesses run, and how to like tweak them and make adjustments so that they run with a little bit greater ease and with a lot more return on just like investment of either time or money. So it's kind of like a long-winded way to say that like I do consulting in a lot of different industries because of like my career path that I've had. I also have like mental health stuff. I have a lot of different like career experience. I've had a lot of legs of my career. Well, that's a little bit of like how and why I do consulting, living and working in the Washington D.C. area. It's not an easy field to work in by any stretch, because it's a little bit like doing freelance work. And if you know anybody who does freelance work in any industry, it can be hard to get started. And when I got started in like mid-March, when I kind of had some major life changes and things that kind of forced me in the path of getting started in this kind of season of my life, it wasn't necessarily a choice that I wanted to make when I had to make it. I just kind of had to go with it and just really trust that it would be okay. It has been okay, like a little bit, but not entirely. And one of the major things that's not been okay and not been entirely workable is me managing my time working from home. Working from home, and I don't know if you know anybody who works from home, whether they have their own business in-house, like, for example, if they are doing like the handmade kind of Etsy thing. Working from home is an incredibly challenging sort of arrangement to deal with. And especially if you are a working parent and you're trying to do something like what I'm doing, which is like trying to homeschool my kid, which I think that I'm doing a pretty subpar job at it. I mean, I, as a professional educator with over a decade of experience from like K to 12 with all learning differences and ages and things, like, I am very, very not okay with like how I've been doing. And I am really hard on myself most of the time, but it's like education is incredibly important to me and my husband, and it's very important for what we want to do for our daughter. And the school setup that she had, that she was kind of dealing with since she was like in preschool, was not working out. And we've kind of known that this is the decision that we would have to take. And I know that I've taken on a lot more than I possibly could do, but I also know, doing the kind of work that I do in consulting and always being willing to ask myself, how can this be better? That like, this can be better. So one major thing that can be better of it is just how I'm investing, not spending, not wasting, but investing my time. Because as I look at my planner pages and just think about time as being the most valuable commodity and resource, and then looking at something like this, like trying to have what I have and have that be enough by making planner stickers work, I just realized that like, this is not working. And so I'm having to make adjustments to just my approach to planning and my style and like how I'm doing things. As things are progressing for me, which have been positive, but at the same time really, really challenging, I have been on a self-imposed no spend for a good long while, and I'm really proud of myself in the way that I've done the no spend, but it's challenging. Now, as creative process works, or just like life circumstances, it's actually proven by research, like they have studied this, that the more limitations that you have, the more creative you actually are. So that basically means if you're trying to do creative planning or just like creative problem solving, it actually behooves you. So that means like it impedes you, it keeps you from moving forward. It behooves you if you actually have every resource available imaginable. It's kind of like having all of your needs and your wants met. Like you end up being limited by the resources that you have in abundance. It's like having too many choices is basically how it works. Well, I have placed some self-imposed limitations on myself, like the no spend, and just me looking at time and trying to manage it better and trying to like see it on paper so that I can refer back to it. And, working from home, people tend to think that when you work from home, you have all the time in the world, that you're going to get so much accomplished. And studies have proven that people who work from people who work from home, they actually work more hours, sometimes triple the hours that people do in however it works, than people who work outside of the home. You can look up the statistics and the studies about this. And as more people are doing the telecommuting thing or just like working from home, it's a slippery slope. It really is. And I think that it's not a positive thing, because home starts to become a place of unrest versus a place of like solace and rest, the way that it honestly should be. And even my husband has kind of looked at me and has looked at kind of the schedule and the things that I'm trying to do either with Etsy or here on YouTube, and then in addition to everything else and the homeschooling. And he's even said to me, like, you need to take a break. People have even said recently in my comments, like, you need to take a break or don't burn yourself out, because I do definitely feel like I'm on the verge of like really burning myself out. And I've classically always been like a workaholic. But that's just not a good enough reason to kind of keep doing this. So, I made the jump from working outside of the home to working in the home in March. And I promise you this is all going to go back to like using the silhouette and like the pros and cons of that and how that works out with like doing the work from home thing. But I made the jump from working out of the home to working in the home and doing like the work from home, work in the home parent in March. So March, April, May, June, July, August. We're now in August, and when we hit like mid-August, that'll be 5 months for me. 5 months is actually beyond my limit of what I normally do when I do planning. When I used to work in the psychiatric hospital and do case management and stuff, some of what my job was to do data collection and analysis and statistics on behavioral observations, and then work with medical directors and case managers and stuff, and medical teams, and then insurance approvals and things. It's like another thing I've done in my career. And what I commonly do in my life in order for me to like have carved the career path that I have is I will do, and this is going to sound so nerdy, I will do a little bit of data collection on myself when I start to feel like I'm spinning my wheels and not like being as efficient or like feeling as positive about what I'm doing. Like when I just start to feel extra tired or when I start to feel overly burdened. Because like I said, I'm always willing to ask myself, how can this be better? So I have been doing the planning thing in a certain way for 5 months. And then I've recently started to change things up to try and de-stash to myself. And then I recently, just the other day, figured out how to use my silhouette portrait. So that changes kind of the game a little bit. And just to be totally and completely honest, I did break the nose bend because I bought sticker paper. Wasn't that expensive. I'll link what I bought in the description of this video. It was like $15 or something. But just in me doing planning from home and then me starting to run out of like what I kind of feel like are the functional sort of essential stickers that I like to use in my daily planning, in my weekly planning, in my project planning, just all of the planning. I mean, I work in visual design and I can originate my own graphics and stuff like that, and I have like kind of a ridiculous library of fonts and of clip arts that probably like no one would even need to use, just because the professional work that I do sometimes requires me to use like out there clip art that's not decorative and it's totally meant for like conveying information. Just with the fact that I can sit down and design my own stickers, that is such a luxury, and especially now that I figured out how to use the silhouette portrait, it's even more of a luxury to do that. But it's a luxury that requires an investment, a sacrifice of time that I simply don't have that luxury right now because of what I have to do in the balance of like transitioning in the way that my life has had, and the fact that even though I work from home, I work in the home, I still have to go to meetings and things. In fact, in the past month or so, my like job requirements, work requirements of leaving the house and like trying to do 4 things at one time sometimes. One of those things being trying to like be much better at homeschooling, which like I said, I just feel like just being honest, not trying to be hard on myself, but just being totally and brutally honest. Like I just don't, and I don't think that I've been doing the best at it. Like I don't like it. I don't, as a professional educator who used to even do training for faculty and used to do like management and leadership in professional education, like I am incredibly disappointed. So right now I'm in a bit of a reevaluation stage. And in reevaluating, someone recently asked if I would do some A5 planning. And so I haven't been using my A5 planner in a long time, just because I haven't really had a need or a want to use it. Using like the more full-size setup that I was using, and I think that actually helped me to progress kind of in this way. But I used to use an A5 planner a lot when I was a classroom teacher, and here is a daily page. And I just sat down and did this today after I did my weekly page setup, which looks like this hot mess looking thing. And maybe you don't think it's a hot mess, but for me, like I said, planning is for you. Your planner is for you. I mean, you might post and share things on social media, but ultimately, for me, planning, while I enjoy it, I couldn't possibly call it a hobby, because it's something that I require. Like, I have to have it, otherwise, I can't achieve, or I can't even, like, get close to the goals that I set for myself. Excuse me. So one thing that I do that helps me with planning sometimes is to regroup and just reestablish myself by creating a little bit of a daily sheet. Now this is my own kind of design, and normally in the past I have used one that started not at 6 o'clock but at 4 o'clock in the morning, because that's when I wake up in the morning. Like, if I sleep until 5:30, that's actually sleeping in for me, which probably sounds really weird, but my husband is an early riser too. Sometimes he wakes up at like 3:30 in the morning, like life of a professional chef. We're just like pretty diehard about the work that we do, and we're early risers, and we do just collectively as like a household, as a family, we are all trying to be in bed by like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So just our whole schedule just kind of slides and shifts in order to accommodate the early riser thing. But like, even my daughter is an early riser, and it's just the natural rhythm of just like the household and our family. It's also called circadian rhythm, if you want to think about it in terms of like body physiology and just like your natural rhythm that you might have. So that leads me into my next point. So this is an A5 size planning worksheet is what I call it, or just like insert, I guess you could say. And one good reason why something like this could work for you the way that it's worked for me is that what it allows me to do is it allows me to track and basically kind of collect data on myself, so that I can see like where of my time that is wasted, spent, invested. I like to think of it as invested, and then when I look at it in a high level sort of a way, then I can look at it and say, okay, that was a bad investment. There was not very good return on that. So I kind of think of time definitely as like time is money. I mean, time is the one thing that no matter how much you have, you'll just never feel like you have enough. And no matter how much you spend or that you invest, you might also not ever feel like the return is like near the dividends that it needs to be. So this is a little bit of like a financial metaphor. If you know anything about finances or anything, one of my brothers works in the finance industry, and so we have a lot of discussion about like investments and stocks and bonds and stuff like that at any given time too. So I really wanted to do a plan with me today. I actually sat down and tried to film one, and it took me like well over an hour to just like get to a point where I finally pulled these out that I had kind of in my stock for my own personal use, and that I've shared actually with people one-to-one when I do kind of consulting work and stuff. And I just could not do the plan with me because I have to regroup. I had to figure it out. What I've done here is, so this is my page tomorrow. And the way that I have done things before that were really successful for me to regroup and then move away from like such a highly structured sort of a page setup is, what I'll do is, this is my A5 size planner, and this is by Studio Calico. And I will try and link this in the description of this video, because right now the Studio Calico binders are actually all on sale, which is kind of nice. But what I'll do is I will print double-sided pages of these I will do on the right side of my planner what my projected understanding or just like intentions are for my daily plans for each day. And I'll wake up in the morning and fill out that worksheet. And then on the left side of the page, I will kind of track, using the right side page, I will track how and where my time is kind of divvied up. So then I can go back and look at it and analyze it and then say, this is where it looks like the time was lost, or this is where it looks like the time was kind of gained because you did it in this way or that way. A really, really positive thing about doing this is that what you might end up starting to see when you go back and kind of analyze your data that you kind of collect on yourself, or at least this is what I've done, is that you get to see what your natural, your organic sort of rhythm is, your circadian rhythm is. So then you can see, especially if you like work from home, work for yourself, doing like the sticker shop thing, you get to see during this time of day, I wasn't able to get near as much accomplished as during this time of day. So what you could say is like something that I've noticed in the past. I don't know if it really applies now. I'm going to discover that hopefully over the next couple of weeks as I do this for myself. But what you'll get to see is you'll get to see that like, even though your plans might be this, they don't have to be static. They don't have to be rigid that like you have to keep to this. Especially if you have a little bit of a sliding baseline, meaning like, since you kind of make your own schedule, and I'm a little bit beholden to other people's schedule because I have to do meetings and I have to deal with this and I have to deal with that. Like, it's not just entirely me. But what you will find if you have a flexible sort of a schedule that you're allowed to kind of dictate a little bit more is you will find that in your data collection, like your recording of actual events as they occur, or just activities that you do, that there will be a pattern of natural sort of happening, and you'll be able to determine the windows of time during your day, your entire, well, maybe not your 24-hour. I mean, actually, I think this could work for sleeping as well. Like when you naturally might kind of need a nap, when you might need to take a break away from the computer, when you might feel most inspired in order to sit down and do design work. So this leads its way into like the whole silhouette thing. That using an A5 planner, I think that A5, and this could also be half sheet, but technically this insert is actually a little bit wider than the typical A5 insert, only because being a design nerd and like an efficiency person, I figured out how to get a little bit more real estate in an A5 planner without any overhang. So I can kind of talk about that kind of in later videos this week. But that said, you know, sitting down and doing this, and this is where the whole silhouette pros and cons comes in. I would have loved to have sat down with this sheet and with like my weekly sheet in order to like make headers and stuff like that, with the silhouette and with my computer, except I just, as I said in the beginning of this video, I just don't have that sort of luxury of time. I unfortunately can't do that. I mean, that's why I can't do kind of Etsy kind of full-time. I just have other commitments that I have to deal with, and I commend anybody who has been able to manage to do the sticker shop thing from home, and especially with the portrait die cutting machines. Just because in my experience, and I've actually talked to some people who work in the design industry, and they have experience doing kind of more large scale sorts of things, like printing, like vinyl cutting, like designing and making t-shirts and things. And they work for pretty large-scale sort of companies that are nationally recognized. That you know, I've talked to these folks, and these folks have die-cutting machines at home. Like they went and got the silhouette, the Curio, the Cameo, the portrait, and as I have a silhouette portrait because I got it as like a gift, and I commend anybody who is managing to do the work from home thing using the portrait, or the really any kind of home die cutting machine. The reason why I really wanted one was actually I wanted it because, and I don't know if people know this, so here's one of the pros of the Silhouette die cutting machines. You don't have to just cut sticker paper. You can cut anything with it. I actually wanted it because I wanted to do quilts. I wanted to do like quilt art. I have some like really out of the box sort of quilting ideas that I wanted to do as like fine art sorts of things, and like commentary on social justice, as well as like commentary on like pop culture and things. And I really wanted a die cutting machine at home because I didn't want to have to cut out individually all of the pieces that I really need. And it's great to have a digital die cutter, which is what the Silhouette kind of desktop sort of setup is. The portrait is the smallest of like the 3 die cutters from Silhouette, and then it's my understanding that there's a competing company, Cricut, that you can also buy from, and for whatever reason, and here's a con for the Silhouette, it's not wireless, which I can't understand why and how it's not wireless. Like, that to me is a major con to the Silhouettes, because I don't know, in a world of wireless sort of connection, I don't understand why the Silhouette is not wireless. Even the more expensive ones, why they are not wireless. Like, I don't get it. I don't have the space in my home. It's very expensive to live and work in the Washington, D.C. area, and I do own my own home, but it's really tiny. It's nothing like what most people have, and people would probably be surprised. I like a tiny kind of cozy house. That's fine with me. It's less for me to have to like manage and deal with. It's like an old house too. But I don't know how people are doing the Silhouette, using it as a core part of like their production for their business. Because as someone who works doing consulting, doing efficiency and like tweaking of systems and things, and how to kind of get the biggest bang for your buck as it has to do with work and production sort of ratios, the whole work smarter, not harder, I kind of feel like the way that the Silhouette die cutting machine is designed, it's impressive to me that people are able to make it work doing large volumes of business, because it doesn't allow you to do something that's very key that the most successful businesses, like the most incredibly just like high producing, high volume, and kind of like the success stories of, I guess, like major industries or profession, is like to really be kind of like that trailblazer, is to learn how to innovate, delegate, automate, or negotiate. Now you might have heard like delegate or automate, but I kind of added the other ones because in my experience of working with pretty reasonably successful individuals across a lot of different industries and networking and stuff, the individuals who truly find the greatest amount of return for their investment of time and money, are ones who do work smarter and not harder. And in my experience of trying to work with the Silhouette and make it work, and then talking to people who've also had similar experiences that I have had, the Silhouette die cutting machine, whether it's like the more expensive one or even the more kind of desktop one like what I have, it doesn't actually allow you to automate very much, because you have to stand there and like feed the sheets in. And then there were a few times when I was using it where it stopped cutting, and it like kind of made my heart stop. And it wasn't even like I was doing large volume sorts of orders or anything. I was just trying to cut out the racks for you all for the thing yesterday that I announced on the daily video. So my hat is off to anybody who's managed to make the Silhouette work, because I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, a number of people have contacted me within the past week, funny enough. I don't know why. It's just like, 4 or 5, however many people have contacted me directly and said, like, what are your thoughts on doing the whole sticker shop thing and everything? Like, I know that if I were going to do it, I would go and get a professional die cutting machine. And I even did a little bit of cursory research, because part of what I do in consulting is doing market research as much as doing efficiency sort of research. And even in the very little bit of research that I did, and I will link what I found in the description of this video, professional die cutting machines are not expensive, not compared to what you pay for having silhouette die cutting machines. Like, the amount that people have paid in the past, because I know that the price has dropped for the silhouettes, and for people to have more than one silhouette, they could actually have like 2 professional die cutting machines that are like wireless and that have the speed and the automation power that the silhouettes seemingly don't have, which, like I said, I don't understand why they don't have that. I think that the Cricut, one of the Cricut die cutters has that. They do have like the wireless thing, but there's just the whole thing of the fact that like there has to be someone there actually like feeding the stuff in. And it's my understanding, just in the very cursory sort of research that I did looking at die cutting machines, and like I said, I'm not trying to be like a sticker shop. Like, I can't do that right now in my life. I don't know that I will be able to ever do that so much. Like I said yesterday, if I sell any planner stickers, it's like overflow of me making stickers for myself or doing racks, like having a little bit of like some crafting time. So that said, those are just kind of my preliminary thoughts on using the silhouette as just like a core sort of thing for that's central for a business that relies on die cutting, whether that's cutting vinyl like static clings and things, or doing planner stickers. And I'm formerly a classroom teacher. Like, I love kind of springboarding people in the direction of what their goals are and helping them to achieve them and accomplish them in big ways with, I don't want to say minimal effort, but like with smart effort. And so just in me thinking about the many Etsy shops that are out there and the extraordinary business that they do because of their design work, and that's another thing, like, I'm very impressed by anybody who can use the Silhouette software to design stickers, because I have tried to work with the Silhouette software and I just keep going back to other design platforms like most of the Adobe Suite, because that's what I use. All of the stickers that I cut and I shared, and all the original artwork that I've ever had to kind of come up with, I use Adobe Suite software, and I think that it's actually a lot easier to use than the Silhouette software. That's just my personal experience. And then when I cut out the artwork that I shared, I actually just imported the files into Silhouette, and I followed like a YouTube tutorial about how to do this, and I will try and link that in the description of this video. And that's kind of like my experience, a little bit of like the pros and cons of the Silhouette die cutting machine. And like I said, I will leave information about like the little bit of research that I did discovering about professional die cutting machines and just like which ones are out there. I didn't do such research that I could tell you like this one's good, that one's not as good. Like, I wasn't able to discover that much, but I will share with you kind of the link of a little bit of like cross-reference kind of research comparing the professional die cut machines to the Silhouette ones and Cricut, I think. I'll leave that information in the description of this video, and the information about the Studio Calico binder, and I think that's it. So I don't know if I talked about everything that I said I was going to in the beginning of this video, and I'm sorry if it was a lot more talking than like it should have been. Oh, this is what I almost forgot to show you. So, because everyone has been really, really into traveler's notebooks in the planner community, I actually know how to make traveler's notebook covers. It's not really that hard. I learned how to do it from other YouTube tutorials. and then a little bit of just like trial and error myself. And if you look back at any of my past videos, I share Traveler's Notebook faux dory sort of setups, as much as like actual covers that I made with materials that I got from like Michael's. But this morning I have like, and this is totally weird, like nobody should have this in their home, I have a huge like bolt of pleather. Don't even ask me where I got it. Like I have the most weird and random stuff in like my craft and art stash in the world, and one of them is like a huge bolt of like vegan leather. So I made this morning, and I didn't mean to make it so tiny. It's a passport size, and this is an old like insert that I made just because I wanted to have a little bit of like a calendar to kind of carry around with me. So I made this like last year sometime, and I wanted to try and make a passport, or not a passport size, a pocket size, just so I could have a little bit of a prototype to play around with, and then I could do a DIY video with you all this week. But this is a passport size. It doesn't have the bands or elastics or anything on it. It doesn't have any of like the holes pierced in it. But this, and it took me a little while because I was trying to figure out how to make a wide kind of wide dory, like what everybody's kind of going crazy over. So I was able to sort of figure it out. There's like the inner lining, and it has paint on the inside because that's like my life, getting paint on things. So that is to come, and I wanted to share this as a little bit of a preview with you of like a DIY that I want to show you all, just because in the planner community I've kind of like done a little bit of crowdsourcing, and I've discovered that there are a lot of people who are interested in doing Traveler's Notebook sort of planning or just like usage, but they don't know where to start, and they also said that they can't afford a Traveler's Notebook cover, which I totally understand. Like I said, I've been on like a self-imposed no spend, but I know how to make covers, and I can teach you all, so that's one of the DIYs that I want to do this week. So keep a lookout for that. And I think that's it for this video. So thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me here online. I'm sorry that it was a lot of me talking and about like nerdy and boring stuff. I hope it was helpful to you all. I kind of feel like a little bit of what I did today was a little administrative, so I appreciate you bearing with me on that. But that will be it for this video, and these planning inserts here, these like daily worksheets, they will be making their way into my Etsy shop. And I'm going to try and have printable versions as much as like printed and then shipped to you versions of any given insert that you might have seen on my YouTube channel, or because I have like videos that date clear back to 2014, I think. I don't even remember. I've done a lot of bizarre things with planning. So that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful and useful to you. And I will really and truly try and do like a plan with me, but I think that the way that it works better for me is it works better for me to do plan with me's on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So that's just like my natural rhythm of how things go. And yeah, so look out for that. Look out for the DIY for like the Traveler's Notebook thing. Look out for an extension of just like using the silhouette, because I kind of like to show you guys how to maybe like print printables. And a plan with me. Ooh, doing planner stamping. That's also something I wanted to do with you all. And yeah, that's it. So thanks so much for watching this video, guys, and spending so much of your time today with me. Sorry it was so long. But that's it. I will see you in tomorrow's daily video. Bye!